Welcome to our Vocation Cafe. It's a wonderful day here in Hamilton, and I can see in Alberta as well. The sun is shining. The Vocation Cafe is the place when we have a conversation about vocations from many different perspectives, from many different vocations. Everybody is being called, and we just talk. We try to ask the question, what God is calling us, and maybe I hope that if you're watching us, you will hear and answer the call that is directed to you. So welcome to all of you who are joining us online on this live stream. If you are lucky enough, today in Canada, there's lots of internet outages across the country. So if you are lucky enough, you're with us, welcome. And today, I'm very honored and happy to see Father Les Kwiatkowski, long time missionary with the Indigenous people. I remember when I came to Canada over 20 years ago, I was already working with the Indigenous people and still working with them. So welcome, Les. Maybe just introduce yourself. Where are you tuning from? What are you doing? A few words about yourself.
Thanks so much, and I'm happy to be here with you and to share my story, I guess, with others. So thanks so much for inviting me and being for this next probably half hour or so. So, like you said, Jarek, my name is Les Kwiatkowski, and I joined Oblates in 1980
A long
in
time ago.
Poland, and so all my study and seminary I did in Poland. What actually attracted me to Oblates was the mission. I was looking for a congregation, a religious congregation, which kind of promotes or sends members to the missions. So that's why after kind of research here and there, Oblates attracted me very much because
So
of.
how did you find out about the oblates? Are you in the area where the oblates are in Poland, or?
No, I wasn't. I wasn't actually. I remember when I finished my high school, I went to Częstochowa and there was this
Mhm.
vocation office, and I started kind of looking for anything. I was sitting there, and there was the different congregations and different materials, different books, and that's what when I started kind of searching, I could see, oblates with those beautiful crosses, and so
That
that
was
was.
before the times of the internet when you could actually Google and
Oh
see it.
yeah, there was no internet. Remember, I am too old for for that. So there was no internet in those. Well, remember this was 1980, So
Yeah.
so this is a long time ago, and so oblates kind of attracted me, and then I contacted Święty Krzyż Holy Cross, where normally we have novitiate, and so they answered right away. They said, bring all the documents, everything. So I
Oh.
went to Święty Krzyż and I met later he was the novitiate master, Father Niesłony. So we
Mhm.
had this little conversation, and that's what I began. But very much Canadian kind of context came when I was in novitiate, because I started reading the books, especially from the missions, oblate missions,
Mhm.
and especially the far north, kind of started attracting me. There was specifically one book which was, I remember till today, Father Billiard wrote that book, and it was
Inuk.
Inuk, Mission at the End of the World.
Read that too. Yeah.
That's it. And that was my kind of, so one went to opera, to the seminary, but this kind of dream to be part of this was already there in my heart. And I was so kind of happy and touched. This was the Holy Spirit for sure,
Mhm.
because when we were deacons, provincial of that time, Father Johnson, came to look for volunteers who would like to go to the north.
What was the province at that time? Because that wasn't Lacombe
It
yet.
was no, at that time there was still about 8 provinces in Canada. It was Grandin province.
Okay.
So this was Edmonton, Northwest Territories area, and at that time there was still many of us.
Yeah. So you came to Canada as a deacon
No,
before your
I
ordination,
came
no?
as a, I was only, you see, I met the provincial when I was deacon, but I was
Okay.
ordained in Poland. And then, of course, we have to remember this was communist time still.
Yeah.
And so I waited for my visa to Canada about 2.5 years. And I was
Oh, wow.
in Jarek Parish,
Mhm.
big parish. So there was about probably four pastor and four assistants. And there was about 13 or 14 of us in the house. So waiting for all the papers, yeah, it took me about 2.5 years. Yeah.
So when did you finally arrive? What was your first ministry, or what was your
Well,
expression
we
experience?
came to Canada. There was few of us at that time
Hmm.
volunteered, and we came with specific mandate, to go to native ministry. Like first, I wanted to go to Inuits, but after the conversation with Johnson, with our provincial, he said,
Hmm.
we would need you probably more in indigenous in native ministry. So I started in Northwest Territories in the far north, in Fort Providence, Fort Simpson. This was my kind of area there. There was about 8 communities, and my
Just on
mandate was
Mackenzie River, isn't it?
area.
And what was your experience? Like, I mean, you're coming from completely different culture, as so did I, and you are being basically introduced. I don't think there were any courses at that time that you could took or learn. So all of a sudden, coming from completely different culture and being dropped in the middle of Fort Providence. Like, what was your
Well,
experience?
that's you can imagine what it could be. It was shocking in many ways, but also there was this spirit of adventure, spirit of something new, spirit of getting into it. So there was lots of joy, and excitement in all this. And because
Mm.
you see, if your dreams become true, and whatever you for years, you were reading and you were kind of thinking, praying, and now becomes the reality. Of course, sometimes this reality was not so much the same like in the books, so
Yeah.
it had to be this adjustment, and it was not easy. I have to today, like, after so many years, I have to say, but this immersing into this new culture, totally new culture, and not even Canadian, but different culture, it was challenging, but also exciting, very much exciting.
It's always different, something new, and a learning opportunity as well. I just want to welcome to all of you who are joining us. I see Father Tony Odell from Hamilton, who is with me here, joining us across the hallway. So welcome, Tony. It's good to see you here with us online. And you mentioned that you were first Fort Providence, that Northwest Territories, Dene people, right?
That's correct, yeah.
When I came over, I remember I had the chance to spend a couple of weeks with you in Sandoff in Alberta that were Blackfoot, and that's completely different experience, wasn't it?
This was a completely different experience. You see, like when I was transferred from the far north to the far south, because it was almost the border with Montana, and this is the largest reservation in Canada, Blackfoot. So it was huge. It is huge, and new challenges. There was many challenges because the culture of Dene people is different than Blackfoot, totally different. And but also this was the time when I learned a lot about native spirituality, about native history, about native life. I was invited to the sweat lodges, to night ceremonies, to sun dances, and this was just eye-opening experience, beautiful experience. And these are very spiritual people, and you were with me,
Yeah,
for I don't know, about a month or two. So I remember we had this youth camp in the mountains, in
that's
the
right.
Rocky
Remember that.
Mountains. So yeah, so these were beautiful days. And I remember I kind of with that time of the provincial Father Camille Pichet, he told me, "Oh, let's go there for 3 years," and from these 3
Yeah,
years I
that
spent there
always
10
happens that
years.
way. Yeah.
Mm.
We are good as oblates with calculating those years. The same when I went from Edmonton after first year to Labrador, the deal was I was going for a year or maybe two, and 10 years later, same.
Yeah.
I think we are good in that. So, was it in with the Blackfoot that you received the headdress? Because I noticed that you have the
Mhm.
on the pictures, and how that happened. Like, how were you recognized, and how did you receive the headdress?
Well, when kind of the news started spreading that, because I asked for transfer after 10 years, and
Mhm.
finally the news spread out, that I was leaving. So this was completely like a surprise for me. They prepared, I didn't know nothing about this,
Nice.
because this headdress ceremony was like welcoming to the or adopting to the community, and then you become part of elders, part of leaders in the community.
Mhm.
So there was this beautiful ceremony, and I didn't know till probably 5 minutes before the ceremony started, when the whole community was gathered there, and spiritual leaders and the chief. And so yeah, so this was given to me, and the whole dress, so it was probably one of the biggest honors which I have had in my life, and I cherish this very, very much, very deeply.
It's a recognition, truly, and an appreciation for because you eventually, after so many years walking together, that's the team that we have with the Pebble visit as well. But it's such a reality for you. For so many years, you've already walked together with the indigenous people and sharing the same experience. So when you finish instead of in Black with Blackfoot people, you move to a very significant place as well for the indigenous people in Canada in general, especially Western Canada, to Lac Ste Anne. And those are not Dene or Blackfoot. Can you a little bit tell us about the background of the indigenous people in Lac Ste Anne area?
Okay, so Lake St. Anne is my kind of base, but I have 5 communities which I serve around, and very interesting. These are two different nations, like Cree Nation, which is in Enoch and Alexander First Nation, and then there is two other communities which are Sioux, Nakota Sioux Nation,
Hmm.
which is Alexis and Paul. And of course, Lake St. Anne gathers everybody. So Lake St. Anne is the spiritual place known since the pilgrimage is known. First pilgrimage was in 1878.
Wow,
So
a lot of
it's
history there.
we have long history, and this place gathers all indigenous people, Métis people,
Hmm.
and not only during the pilgrimage, which usually we have around St. Anne Feast, which is the end of July, but also, they come all the time. They come for the healing. They come to the lake. The water of the lake is considered as sacred, holy. So people are all the time here, and when I'm here, like sometimes, there's little conversation which talk when they find out that I am the priest, they ask for the blessing. Sometimes even it's so kind of nice. They will call on FaceTime with their own community, and we pray over someone, who is far, far, far away, because that
Amazing.
person needs prayer.
Yeah, I've heard that. I had a chance to be a couple of times earlier when I was in Edmonton to visit Lac Ste Anne and during pilgrimage as well. And it's amazing to see how many people gather there and they camp there and they pray together, and they truly, you can see that attitude towards the healing waters of the lake in that sense, like seeking the reconciliation, the healing. You you've been there for quite a while now, and have you ever had like a unique experience that you witness with the people who are coming to Lac Ste Anne, who are coming with that hope for healing, for the change of life, for renewal? Do you remember any of the story that like you witnessed that really touch your heart?
You know, those stories you hear probably not maybe every day, but whenever people come here,
Hmm.
and they are different type of healings, because sometimes, we think that healing is something like a miracle or something which something extraordinary happens, and these are extraordinary things happening, but very often these are emotional healing. These are the healing from pain, healings from addictions, and also physical. Like one of the cases which we had, it was 2015. One girl, a young lady from Calgary, she was literally healed here when she
Oh,
was brought. She was on a wheelchair, and now, if you would see her, you would never recognize that she had
amazing.
this big problem. But very often those emotional healings from forgiveness, like sometimes people hold for so many years, something against,
Mhm.
and this place bring them to release that, and they go back, very often after the pilgrimage. I hear they say, Father, I am free now, I am going back
Wow.
home free, which is so beautiful.
Those moments of healing, the spiritual healing, or probably those that you don't see outside, they are so significant, and
Mhm.
you can witness that, but you really don't know what's happening in the people's lives especially when they're coming back home. And it's a perfect example of how God touches hearts of the people. Well, once again, thank you to all of you who are joining us, and all the oblates we have joining us, and Ajit. Now, I want to say it's not from Canada. He's somewhere from the east, and thank you for being with us. And congratulations, inspiring. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, you can always put that in the comments on Facebook. We'll see them. And this is Lac Ste Anne is the place of pilgrimage, as you said. The people travel from far north and from far south, and walking together, coming to the holy waters of Lac Ste Anne. But I've heard there will be some special pilgrim this year coming. Is there some? I've
Yes,
heard that somewhere.
yes. Some say the man in white robe is coming.
You better clean up the house so he will know if you want to stay for a while. So tell us, how is the preparation? Is there an excitement, or people are looking forward to seeing the Pope? Yeah, and he's coming as a pilgrim. That's what he mentioned earlier. Like that's the whole idea, that coming to Lake St. Anne as a pilgrim there, walking together. Can you tell
Yes,
us a little
it's
bit about
real.
the
Mhm.
looking forward to it? I guess.
Well, definitely, we are very excited that this place was chosen, and of course, this official kind of announcement was done not long ago, but we knew a little bit ahead of time before
Hmm.
that this would happen. So the preparation kind of started, and it was amazing too, because it was still secret, but everybody actually
Everybody
around
knew.
knew that he was coming. So, I had one conversation from somebody from Alexis, one of the elders, and she didn't just want to be open, and she said, Father, this is coming. I said, yes, yes, I do. So no, it's big excitement, and we have been praying every Wednesday the rosary in that intention, in the healing. One of the elders, again from Alexis, when she asked me some time ago, is it true, is it really true? But I said, well, yeah, if everything will go well, it is true. And she started crying.
Mm.
She said, in a very simple way, she said, that's the successor of Christ is coming, and he will bless us. He will bless our lake, So,
Yeah.
so these are kind of, yeah, people are being touched, by this, and I hope that this would go well. There will be nice weather too, because this will be no mass here.
So
All
what's going to
others
happen there? Like
coming.
what he's going to do? Is he having the liturgy, or just
Yeah,
walk by
it would be,
himself?
well,
Or
when he will arrive like all the pilgrims first to the statue of St. Anne, which is, when you enter the grounds, this is the
Mhm.
first actually place where people come and
Is this the
pray.
place when you are praying the rosary with the
That's right,
people on
that's
Wednesdays?
correct,
Okay.
yes. And that's what we are doing this every Wednesday at 6 o'clock, and I invite anybody who would like to join us,
Yes,
because
just
this
check it
time,
out. Check it out. It's uh, Saint Anne, no,
it's
Lac
Lac Ste Anne
Saint Anne Parish.
Parish, yeah.
And you can find them on Facebook, and I think we put the link there as well on the during the stream. So check it out, and you can join them live for
Yeah,
the praying the
yeah.
rosary. You said 6 o'clock on
6
Wednesday,
o'clock. Yeah, 6 o'clock
Alberta time.
every Wednesday. Well, if there is rain or really bad weather, then we move to the church. But normally we do this outside at the statue of Saint Anne. So going back to the Holy Father, like he will
Yeah.
stop there, he will pray like all the pilgrims do, and then he will go to the lake. Lake is sacred for us. This is holy lake, you know. And it was known before even Europeans came by native people. And so he will bless the lake and he will bless the land in 4 directions. 4 directions is very, very important for all indigenous people. This is sacred blessing. So he will bless in 4 directions the land around, and then sprinkle, I guess, with the holy water. The people who will be there were expecting quite a few thousands. And then he will go to the shrine, and then there will be liturgy of the word, like a couple readings, and then he will address, of course, the people, elders and survivors of residential schools, you know. And he will bless also one statue of Blessed Mother, who is going. This statue is going to be donated. We don't have it yet, but we are going to have it. And that would be, and of course the leaders, the chiefs, you know, the elders will be there. So the gifts will be presented as well to the Holy Father, and then he will, I guess, go back.
Well, we'll be certainly watching and trying to see how that goes, and praying as well. I mean, this is a significant pilgrimage that Pope Francis is doing to Canada overall, to the west, to Edmonton, and Mashkwashish as well, where the Oblate is just taking on the ministry. I hope and pray, and I think that's all the prayers for all of us are, that this will be a time of renewal, reconciliation, healing, as we walk together forward. So, Wes, all good luck, and I know that will be it's still a very busy time for you, and with all the meetings that you have, I appreciate that you join us for that conversation today. But I have one maybe light question on as we are wrapping up our conversation. I see behind you, just behind you, there is someone moving there, and she's always joining us for different meetings that we had Zoom. And tell us a little bit about baby.
Baby,
There she
she's
is.
saying hello to everybody. That's my dog. Her name is Baby. And that's kind of funny thing. Our provincial Ken Charlson told me one day. He said that's not maybe best name for the dog of the priest, but she is my little baby, I would say, and she's golden retriever, as you can see, and I have her 6 years now, and that's what she will have her birthday in August. So.
Nice.
So this would be nice celebration, just two of us, I guess.
Still a pup. I know. I remember you had a dog as well when I visited you in Standoff. That was
This was
German
husky.
Shepherd.
I had huskies,
right.
and this is my first actually golden retriever in my whole life. But she is spoiled, rotten spoiled, and
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. They change your life. Well, Les, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your story, and all the best to you in the preparations and as you're awaiting for the Pope to arrive. And I really hope that will all go well, and we'll be all keeping an eye what's happening. And please be assured about the prayers and support for your ministry, for the Indigenous people. The last word, if you would like to say something to a young man who is kind of thinking about, what to do in life, maybe God is calling me to be missionary with Indigenous people, like, what would be your advice?
well, I guess something simple. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. It's I am 61 now. Will be 62 pretty soon, and I never regret it. This time. So.
Right.
It's lots of joy, it's so don't be afraid kind of to jump into something which the Holy Spirit prepares for all of us, and there's beautiful work, beautiful ministry, and you can find your way, your ministry among so many people who are waiting for God, for Christ, in our lives. So.
Perfect. Thank you, Les, and thank you to all of you who joined us live today, and thank you to all of you who will be watching this broadcast later on. Let's continue our prayers for vocations, for Oblate Vocations, and may God guide us and help us to answer our own calling, whatever that calling is, whatever way of life we have. So God bless you all, and thank you, Les, once again. Have a great day, everyone.
Thanks so much, and God bless all.